here with a bunch of ladies, and it's before lunch, so I'm hungry. Really, really good to be with you all. You might be wondering, yes, it's true, I am a man. I can't prove it, because it's not that sort of event. But you might be wondering, what is a man doing at a Women's Day event? Ladies, I am here to remind you of what you have created. Because nothing is possible without you. Our success is your success. Every man was birthed, fed, clothed, cleaned, loved, nurtured by a woman. And so, I, Richard, the other men in this room are here to remind you of what you have created. So, with the gentlemen in the room, please stand up and join me in giving a standing ovation to the women in the room who made us who we are. You, our sisters, our mothers, our daughters, our colleagues, our bosses, you made us who we are. And will the ladies please stand up and acknowledge and celebrate your sisters in the room. So, Margaret Thatcher said, women who seek to be equal to men lack ambition. And she might have had a point. Because there are some differences between men and women, and the truth is, not all of those differences are very flattering to men. A man is 10 times more likely to commit murder, 9 times more likely to land up in prison. Yeah. But when a woman is depressed, she might go shopping. What does a man do? He invades another country. We've seen that recently, yeah? And the next time he disses your driving, you tell him this. A man is twice as likely to die in a car accident as a woman. Why? Because we're a little more reckless. Which is why the latest research is showing that women actually make better investors. Now something amazing is happening, and that's why I say history is becoming herstory. Because just over the past few years, we have seen that women are becoming the majority of the workforce. And there's research out of Northwestern University which shows that women actually make better managers. Why? Because they tend to listen more, they tend to be more empathic, be better connectors. Really, we should be calling them womanagers. And the truth is, men should be looking to women, to emulate, to model some of those great qualities. Now, of course, what I'm saying is broad generalization. There are some men who are better listeners. Not a lot, but there are some. And, of course, there are some women who are a little bit more reckless. We're talking about broad-based, aggregate personality differences. And so I'm here to remind you that you don't need to be more like a man to win in this new world. Actually, many of us men, well, we need to be a little bit more like you. Like you. But folks, here's the problem. While women have become the majority of the workforce, they are still the very small minority of CEOs and senior executives. And that's got to change. Not just for women, for men. This is really quite a selfish presentation. This benefits men. Because guess what? When we see more women on executive boards, when we see more women in CEO positions, we see increased productivity. We see increased profitability. we need you to smash that glass ceiling. And so, as Richard said, I'm here today to share with you the 5 P's to breaking through that glass ceiling. Ladies, are you ready for your first P to breaking through and becoming the you that we need you to be? If you are, raise your hand in the air and say, yes, yes.
Yes, yes.
Okay, nice. Let's try that once again. Raise both hands in the air and say, yes, yes, yes.
Yes, yes.
All right, let's do it. Your first P to breaking through. Personal responsibility. I know the world is unfair. Women get paid less for doing the same jobs as men. Sometimes for doing the same jobs as men better than men. Life is not fair. Yeah? But if we say, look, it's unfair, there's nothing I can do about it, we give up our power to make things better. Yeah? And so we need to start with personal responsibility. What can I do? This is the golden question. What can I do? Because here's the interesting thing. When we look at these pay differences between men, I'm going to get a little bit closer to you. Am I going to throw things out if I get on the floor? Camera guy? Is it okay? Can I get on the floor? Are we good? I mean, I won't lie down on the floor. Well, I don't know. It depends. Let's see how things go. But I want to get a little closer to you guys. So, we know that women earn less for doing the same jobs. Now, you might think that means there's an evil cabal of men deciding that women will get paid less. But in fact, it turns out that's not quite the case. So let me share you. We have Uber in the room. Did I hear Uber in the room? So Uber, hi, I love you. You've changed my life. Seriously. You're the most incredible, incredible business. I love you. So I don't know if you guys know this, but you know that Uber drivers get paid, female Uber drivers get paid less on average than male Uber drivers. And you guys, I know they're thinking, Dr. J, what do you mean? That's not true. But it actually is. Now you might think, how's that possible? It's an app. It's AI. Look at these beautiful ladies. Do you really think they're going to pay their female Uber drivers less? Are they? Are they? No, right? But it's true. The truth is, I don't know if it's true in the Philippines. This research comes out of the United States. So what is going on? How do female Uber drivers get paid less than male Uber drivers? It turns out that male Uber drivers are more prepared to go into dangerous areas where there is an incentive to go, right? Where women cleverly, right, don't go. Then they get paid less and they don't want to subject themselves to that risk. So if we look at that, we go, oh, there's something going wrong here. No, it's just, it's not personal, right? I'm not saying there aren't certain cases where there is somebody deciding that a woman's going to get paid less. But what's happening in the corporate world? Why are women generally getting paid less? Folks, it turns out that women are getting paid less because they don't ask for as much as men. So when they are going into salary negotiations, the man is going in going, this is what I deserve. And a woman is going in, I think this is maybe what I deserve, which is usually a little bit lower. Even when they are as or more competent. Yeah? So you see that personal responsibility means that we've got to start stepping up and asking for what we deserve. Now, in this session, I'm going to share with you one simple thing that you can do which will lead to you getting the salary that you deserve, which is essentially the same salary, the high salary that men are generally getting. I'm going to share one simple thing that you can do in that salary. You never thought you would come into the Asia CEO women's events and you would leave with the ability to get an even higher salary. But you are. So do not go away. Still to come. I'm going to share that with you. The one simple thing you can do to ensure you get that salary. All right, so personal responsibility. Folks, we don't choose everything that happens to us. Right? You know? We don't choose the COVID virus. We don't choose a recession. We don't choose these things, right? But we can always choose our response. This is the meaning of the word responsibility. It is the ability to respond. And as long as we are alive, we have that ability. Unfortunately, to err is human, to blame is more so. And the first one to get that was Adam. Who did Adam blame for eating the apple? It wasn't me, it was Eve! Right? And so this is very human. Many people think the ultimate success strategy is, right, wasn't me, right? But here's the problem. When we do that, we're giving up our power. So, first step, and I'm going to give you tools. This is going to be real practical. There's a question here. Each one of these principles has a question. Whenever you are faced with a challenge in your life that you need to break through, to ensure that you activate your first P, right? You ask this question, what can I do about it? And if you're facing a challenge right now in your life, you might want to write that challenge down, whatever it is, personal, business, relational, financial, emotional, or all of the above. But choose one, very important, choose one. You can't run in 5 directions at the same time. You can't solve more than one problem at the same time. Write down that one issue, and then what can I do about it? What can I do about it? Maybe the most powerful question on the planet. Now that doesn't mean you've got to solve it all on your own. What can I do about it? Might be who can help me, who can support me, where can I find the information that I need to break through, right? But what can I be the first cause? Be the first cause. Your first key is, what is that first P? It is personal responsibility. Let me hear you say that. That first P is personal responsibility. That's your first P. It's a great letter, that P. Right? Here in the Philippines, it doesn't just stand for Philippines, it stands for 5 P's to breaking through. So, are you ready for your second P to breaking through? If you are, raise those hands in the air and say, yes, yes, yes! Beautiful. Okay, here we go. Number 2. Positive self-belief. Folks, positivity doesn't mean expecting to get the best of everything. Positivity means making the best of everything that you get. Yeah? When you change the way that you see things, these things change. Thoughts are not reality, they are just an interpretation of reality. And we need to make sure that our thoughts are working for us and not against us. What does the Bible say? In the beginning there was the Word, right? The Word. What is a word but a single thought? In the beginning there was a single thought creates emotion. How we think is how we shall feel. Think negative, self-defeating thoughts, you're going to be depressed and anxious. Think positive, upbeat thoughts, you're going to feel a whole lot better. Thoughts create emotion. Emotion creates action. Emotion comes from the Latin meaning to move. Emotion moves us to action. Action creates habit. Habit creates character. Character creates destiny. Your destiny is given birth in the thoughts that you think to yourself. And so we've got to start taking note about what are we thinking to ourselves. Because if you notice, you are constantly talking to yourself. And if you think that you don't talk to yourself, then you have to say to yourself, I'm not talking to myself, which means you are definitely talking to yourself. And if you notice that what we say to ourselves is not always very supportive, have you noticed that the biggest bully isn't in the schoolyard? It's in our own heads. Yeah? That we can be real negative about stuff. That we can be real negative about ourselves. Yeah? Now, I was teaching positivity for many years, and I noticed that I still had a lot of negativity. And that really bothered me, but beating yourself up because you're negative is not a great way to become more positive. And then I found the work of the neuroscientist Rick Hansen. And Rick Hansen has found that we all have what he calls a negativity bias. Our brains tend towards the negative. There's nothing wrong with you. You're not broken or defective. You've got no negativity. You're human. This is an operating system, like your computer. And it's got a few bugs. See, this brain evolved to deal with a very different environment. The environment of our caveman ancestors, they had to do two things. Number one, get lunch. Number two, avoid being lunch. If you failed at number two, you never get to enjoy number one again. And so there's this fundamental algorithm underlying the brain: overestimate threats. Because if you overestimate a threat, you live another day. If you underestimate a threat, you die. Now, of course, today we live in the most unprecedented comfort and safety in the history of humankind, but we still have brains that are always looking for what's wrong. Have you noticed that you go up to people and you say, what's wrong? But you never go up to somebody and say, what's right? Because the brain figures out what's right will take care of itself, but what's wrong might kill. And so we always look for what's wrong. But in a world where we don't have to worry about food or shelter, we have this tremendous safety. Instead of looking for threats out there, what does our brain start to do? It starts to look for threats in here. And we become the threat. And that threat becomes, I'm not good enough. Right? I'm not smart enough. I'm not attractive enough. And our brains start to beat up on ourselves. And that's really not helpful. Because when that happens, it breaks down our confidence, and that's exactly why we don't go out there and get what we deserve, because we think we don't deserve it. Now, it turns out that women have an even more self-critical voice than men. This is confidence. You want to be more confident? Very simple. There's two factors that produce confidence. Number one, competence. You've got to be competent. You've got to feel like you can do the job, right? There's a second key factor, self-belief. You've got to believe that you can do it. Now, you can be somebody who has a lot of self-belief but low competence, but you can be somebody who has a lot of competence but low self-belief. And if you've got a lot of competence and low self-belief, you're not going to go out there. And if you really want to see this at play, go back to the 2012 election. Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. Now, whatever your politics are, whether you're aligned, with Republicans or Democrats, just let's look at these two individuals. You've got Hillary Clinton, who was called the most qualified candidate for the American presidency in history, because she'd been senator from New York, she'd been foreign secretary, she'd been first lady, she had all this experience. Donald Trump, no experience, right? A businessman, and then people say, yeah, but maybe that's what we needed. But also a businessman who went bankrupt 3 or 4 times. Right? So his success was in branding, and this is my point. If you look at the two of those, Donald Trump has unbelievable self-belief, like to a worrying degree, right? And he's able to convey that self-belief, that absolute self-belief, even though he's not always that competent. He went bankrupt a lot of times, right? And so that self-belief was enabling him to move forward at the pace that he was able to go, right? And then you get people, and that's why we know that when it comes to somebody who has high self-belief and low competence versus somebody who has low self-belief and high competence, the high self-belief, low competence person will generally get the job and the increase. Does that make sense? I mean, it's not fair, right? But remember, we said, Albert Ellis is one of the greatest psychologists that ever lived. Albert Ellis said, if you think life is fair, you have got an irrational belief system. Life is not fair. That's why we are in this room right now, and my heart was really moved yesterday. The reason we're in this country is because together we can change the world. And yesterday we went out to some orphanages in Manila, and it was just so beautiful to see the work that is being done, and the work that's being done by Tomorrow Together We Can Change the World to uplift women and children. But when you are out there walking through some challenging neighborhoods, and from South Africa we have some challenged neighborhoods as well, you realize life isn't fair. And it's probably more fair for us than for most people on the planet, right? 1 billion of the people's planet's population goes to bed hungry every night. So it's not fair. It isn't fair. But I love what they said, together we can change the world. And Jana, I don't know if this is your line or Scott's line, it's such a beautiful line that you can't do all the good that the world needs, but the world needs all the good that you can do. I'll probably bastardized that line. Isn't that a beautiful line? I love that, right? You can't do all the good the world needs, but the world needs all the good that you can do. So I want to thank Scott and Jana and our team for bringing me to the Philippines and enabling me to share in that heart. So, positive self-belief. So how do we generate? Remember I said I was going to give you some tools. Henry Ford used to say, you think you can, you think you can't, you are always right. Yeah? It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. You think you can't, you don't even try. You think you can, you go out there and give it a go. Self-belief is underlined by the belief that I can. That I can. So, here's what you want to do. I want you to write down a goal that you have for yourself. Write down a goal. Maybe it's a business goal. Maybe it's a position that you want in your organization. Maybe it's a salary increase. Maybe it's whatever it is. It's up to you. You're not going to share this with anyone. So you can, you write down whatever goal you want. Now I want to just say this. Dream big. Because the world needs you. And the world needs women to be dreaming big and achieving those dreams. Okay, everybody got a goal? You written something down? Yeah? Yes? Yes. Okay, good. Now, there are 2 stories associated to every goal, and we've got to choose our story very carefully. We can give ourselves a why I can't story. So if I asked you to write down 5 reasons why you can't achieve that goal, do you think you could come up with it? You can't, right? You could always find reasons why you can't. I can't because I'm too young, because I'm too old, because I'm male, because I'm female, we can always find reasons why we can't do something, right? But here's the thing with those reasons. Woman, whatever you write down, Rebecca could have written down her goal many years ago. There's no ways I can become CEO, leading these incredible businesses, because I'm a maid. Can you imagine? She could have said that, and people would have gone, yeah, you're probably right. It's never going to happen, right? Imagine if she gave herself a why I can't story. Well, we wouldn't be here today, for one. So thank you for not giving yourself a why I can't story. So yeah, let's give her a round of applause. What inspiration. But so what did Rebecca do? Rebecca had to give herself a why I can story. She had to know why in her heart of hearts, and I don't know what her story is, so I'm just going to postulate here. Maybe it was, I can do this because who says that I can't? Well, I can do this because I am a force for good and the world needs me, right? Well, I can do this. Why did you? Here I am, putting words in her mouth. I want to hear it. What was your why I can story? Why did you believe that you could do it back then, Rebecca?
Oh, how can you ask this question? I didn't even realize it. Because of the poverty and the responsibility of raising my younger siblings. Our mother died, so I don't have any option but to really do something to help them. That's the reason why.
Oh man, we're going to come back to that. So did you all hear that? It was an imperative. It wasn't that would be nice. It was, I must, for my family. This is poverty. If we don't do it, we're not going to survive. This was a must. Beautiful. I love that. I want you to write down 5 reasons why I can. So whatever your goal is, write down 5 reasons why I can do this. I want you to think of your abilities. I want you to think of your competence. I want you to think of your passion and your energy. I want you to think of how the world needs you. I want you to think that even if you don't have the skills right now to accomplish that goal, that you have the ability to acquire those skills. Folks, I want you to think that even if you don't have the resources, as Anthony Robbins says, you have the resourcefulness. Resourcefulness is far more valuable than resources. I can tell you that. Far more valuable. I want you to give yourself a why I can story. 5 things. Why I can. Good. How are you feeling? Are you feeling fired up and motivated? Don't you feel fine when you look at the reason why you can? You suddenly feel like, darn it, I can do this? Yeah? Get up on your feet for a moment. Get up on your feet for a moment, folks. I'm going to ask you a question. Can you do this? And there's only one answer. Yes, I can. Can you do this? Can you do this? Can you do this? I know you can. Now I want you to stretch out your arms like this for me, please. I want you to stretch out those beautiful arms. So Amy Cuddy is a professor at Harvard University, and she calls this a power pose. And what Cuddy has found is that if you stand in a power pose for just 45 more minutes, just kidding, if you stand in a power pose for just 2 minutes, Cuddy has found that you'll boost your testosterone level by 8%. Ladies, don't worry. That is not the equivalent of a sex change operation. Testosterone is actually a chemical basis of confidence and dominance. We all need it. You'll also reduce your cortisol level. That's a stress hormone implicated in weight retention, yeah, as well. So if you did it at breakfast, this is good too. Now, let's say that you've got to go in and ask for that salary raise, or you've got to go in to do a presentation, or you've got to go in to talk about the incredible value that you can give to this team or organization. Walking in like this is probably not the best thing to do. However, if beforehand you stand in the bathroom, preferably lock the door, you then go out normally, research shows you will be perceived as significantly more confident, even though they don't know you've been standing in the power pose. Aristotle used to tell men going into war, if you don't feel courageous, act courageous and feeling will follow. I call it changing ourselves from the outside in. Now I want you to gently lower your arms, but I want you to stay standing. We all know how important attitude is, right, Rebecca? Yeah, hire for attitude, train for skills. Somebody's got great attitude, they'll acquire the skills. Somebody's got poor attitude, they'll be the first person to say, that's not my job, right? Of course, it may not be your job, but it's downright going to be your opportunity, right? Now, do you know that the word attitude, I love the origins of words, it's called the etymology of words. So the word attitude actually used to mean posture. So if you wanted to lift your attitude, lift your posture. You want to change your psychology, you change your physiology. That's why I was in the gym this morning before this presentation, because I know that that energy is going to fire me up so that I can, get you guys fired up. So our physiology is real important to raising our positive self-belief too. So, go with positive posture. What is it? What is positive posture? You lift your chin, smile. Now there's a feedback loop in the brain. When we're happy, we smile, but when we smile, we feel happy. Botox, true story, actually reduces depression. Not because you look in the mirror and say, I've got no wrinkles, I'm so happy, but because you can't frown. You don't have the negative feedback of that facial expression, right? Pretty amazing, isn't it? And so when you're feeling a little lacking in confidence and positivity, put it in your body. Lift your chin, stick out your chests, don't hold back. And can you feel the difference? Yeah, absolutely. Beautiful, thank you very much. Take your seats, folks. Yay! All right, positive self-belief. Are you ready for your third P? Now, breaking through. If you are, raise both hands in the air and say, yes, yes, yes! Yes! Beautiful, folks. Number 3, purpose. And boy, did Rebecca just talk about purpose. What was her biggest motivator? Purpose. I've got to do this for my family. Now remember I said to you, I would share with you one simple thing that you could do, which will get you the pay rise that you need. So when men go in to ask for a pay rise, they're very happy to go in and ask for a big number, just thinking about themselves. But it turns out that when women go for a pay rise and they think about themselves, they ask for less. And the reason is probably because women are a little bit more modest about themselves. It's just the way that it is. So guess what one little thing you can do which will ensure that you go in and ask for the pay rise that you deserve? Think about your family. So when women go in thinking about their family and their community and how their salary increase can support and help their family community, they will ask for just as much as men. Isn't that interesting? Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't just be thinking of you. I'm just saying that when women are primed to think about their family, they will then get what they deserve. And that's why I thought it was so fascinating what Rebecca said. Because that's what she was thinking about. She wasn't thinking about me, she was thinking about her family. And folks, this is the power of purpose. There are two men on a building site in the Middle Ages, and a passerby asks them, "What are you doing?" And the one replies, "I'm cutting stone, it's hard, it's boring, my back is killing me, but at least I get a bowl of soup at the end of the day." And he asks the other one, "What are you doing?" He looks up at the sky, his eyes shining, smiling, he says, "Me, I'm building a cathedral." Who's going to be more fired up? The one who's just putting stone one on top of the other, the one who's building something bigger than himself? Without a doubt, it's the cathedral builder, isn't it? Who's going to have more fun? Who's going to be more energized? Cathedral builder. So it turns out that we can all put stones, or we can all build cathedrals. It's all about our mind. Here's the question you want to ask yourself. How are people going to be better off because of me? How are people going to be better? When you are focused on the positive impact on others, that's purpose. Purpose is contribution. How many of you are in sales? Any sales people? One or two? So the truth is we're all in sales, aren't we? And that was why I wrote this book, Pitch to Win, which is actually for all of us, because all of us need to go out there and influence. Even if it's selling our ideas, selling ourselves, yeah? And what we know is a fascinating study, Wharton Business School. You take a group of salespeople, when they go out there thinking about the perks, benefits, commissions that they can earn, they are mercenaries, right? That's what we call a mercenary. The missionaries, when they go out there thinking about the positive impact that their products and services are having on the world, right? Those are missionaries. Now, we can all be mercenaries and missionaries, but when we're primed to be missionaries, the study at Wharton Business shows that the salespeople doubled their sales. Doubled. That's the power of purpose. When we are thinking about the positive impact that we have. Our fourth P, are you ready for your fourth P? If you are, raise those hands and say, yes, yes, yes! All right, good. Here we go. Number 4 is people. When we've been talking today, it might feel like this is all on your shoulders, but it isn't. It isn't. There is no such thing as success without successful relationships. The road to gold is lined by people, friends, family members, customers, team members. If we cannot engage people, we cannot succeed. I come from South Africa. There's many tribes. One of the tribes is the Zulu people. And the Zulu people say, "Umuntu ngumuntu ngabantu." And it means a person is only a person because of other people. Yeah? Because of other people. A study at Harvard University, it's the longest longitudinal study of all time, set out to find the real key to success. They found one factor. People who are highest on this factor earned on average $120,000 more a year than those who were lowest, and they were happier. What was that one factor? The strength of their relationships. The strength of whatever we can do to build those relationships. Yeah, and I can't go into all of those tools here, but I'm going to share some resources with you at the end of my presentation, some free resources where you can go and focus on building those social skills. But I want to focus on one thing. So, today in the United States, it's less than 5% of CEOs are female. And Forbes magazine wanted to understand, what did these female CEOs do that got them into CEO position? And there are a couple of things, but one of the things that was absolutely universal was every one of these female CEOs early on in their career identified somebody higher in the organization, male or female, and said, will you be my mentor? Will you be my mentor? It turns out that having somebody who is going to be there for you, who you can reach out to ask, to connect, to get advice, to get input, to network, right? A lot of male success is the male network, right? And so when we're getting mentors and we're breaking in, that becomes a critical key to our success. Our fifth and final P, are you ready? Yes, yes, yes! Good. Well, let me ask you this first of all, folks. Have you got some insight or inspiration from this session? Yeah? Okay, good. So Bill Gates says, if you get an insight or inspiration, do something about it within 24 hours, or the chances are against you ever doing anything. That's kind of sobering, isn't it? So I want you to write down one practical, specific thing that you are going to do within the next 24 hours. One practical, specific thing that you are going to do within the next 24 hours based on what you've heard in the session. Right? It can be absolutely anything. But write down, and what's really important is say when you are going to do it. Right? That really helps if you can actually schedule it, and write that down. Because your fifth P is performance. It's what we do. Learning is not what goes into our heads. Learning is a change of behavior. And the truth is, the best way to learn is to act, is to do. Right? So make that commitment right now. What am I going to do differently? What one specific action am I going to take? You got something? You written it down? Are you going to share what you got? Can we get a roving mic? Let's just take one quick one. Who's going to share?
Anybody want to share?
Do I need to bribe people to share?
No, they don't.
I tell you what, I have a book here called Winning with Relationships. The first person to share will get an incredible signed. Okay, so Rebecca, hold on a second. I want to take a moment here. Thank you for putting up your hand. Thank you for putting up your hand. Folks, I know standing up and talking in front of people can be a little scary. Yeah? But one of the things we spoke about today is stepping up. The world needs you to step up. And sometimes that is scary. But you see, when you step up, what's your name?
My name is Camille.
It is?
Camille.
Camilla.
Camille. Just Camille.
Camille.
Camille, yes.
See, what happens is Camille wins. Camille, was it a little bit scary to put up your hand?
I was waiting for someone to put up a hand.
You were like, somebody's going to do it, but you were like, oh, I don't know, maybe it's a little, but you went, you know what, Donna, this is a little scary, but I'm going to do it, right?
Yep.
That's what we need more of. Folks, feel the fear and do it anyway. The world needs you, ladies, the world needs you. Feel the fear and do it anyway. Because when you do that, because remember, it doesn't matter what she says. She's won, right? And sometimes it's just about showing up. So thank you, Camille. I really appreciate that. You've been an inspiration to us all. Let's hear what you're going to do within 24 hours, other than read this book.
Well, I can't commit to finish the book in 24 hours, but I definitely would love to have that. I will talk to someone to be my mentor today. And she's here, actually.
Oh, cool, great. Now, notice what else, can you give a round of applause? Yeah, thank you. So did you notice what happens as well, folks? Camille made a public commitment. The research tells us that when you make a public commitment to take an action, you have a 50% increased chance of actually doing it. So I really want to encourage you, we don't have time to get public commitments from everyone, but share with someone what you're going to do. We don't have the time right now, but we've got a tea break, we've got a lunch break. Share with, I really want to encourage all of you, share your action with somebody else. Would you do that today at some point? Will you share your action? Way increases the chance, and then they get to steal your actions, which is pretty cool too. All right, that's for you, Camille. You're so welcome. You're so welcome. All right, folks. So I just want to, if you want to connect with me, if you go to drj.global, every week I do breakthrough insights, they're absolutely free. If you're on social media, I put out 4 reels, short videos, inspirational videos every week, and my handle is Breakthrough with Dr. J. That's Breakthrough with Dr. J. I also want to say there are a couple of books here. The one is Pitch to Win, the other is Winning with Relationships. I've got very few copies. However, firstly, 100% of the proceeds of these books go to Together We Can Change the World. I think what we said was, I forgot the price, but I think it's 500 pesos. There are only very few. But if you wanted a bulk order for your team or organization, we will arrange that as well. And rest assured, every cent will go to developing women and children, the most needy women and children in this beautiful country of yours. My time is just about up. I've got about 3 minutes left, but only 1 minute left of material, but I like to leave time for applause. So I just want to ask you real quick, let's go through those P's. Number 1, what's our first P? Personal responsibility. Number 2, positive self-belief. Number 3, purpose. Number 4, people. Number 5, ladies, may you use those 5 P's to smash that glass ceiling, to break through for you and for us. The world needs you. Thank you so much.